everybody. We are here for another episode of Positivity, and we are delighted to have the incredible Saskia Clark with us. Hi, Saskia.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm in a sunny pool in Dorset with a cup of tea. I'm ready.
Amazing. Oh, it must be great to be in pool by the seaside.
Yes, I think I've been really lucky that I've been here for lockdown, and we've had the beach and the harbour here, and just space. I guess really lucky to have that space around us.
Yeah, I read something this week that blue space is, so being near water is so much more beneficial for you than any other type of outdoor space. Do you?
Yeah, actually, a really good friend of mine, someone who I first started doing my Olympic career with, gave a year or so ago, gave me a blue marble, because she had read that I think there's a book about it, about how much more beneficial blue spaces are to green or urban. And actually, one of the charities I'm an ambassador for is the Andrew Simpson Foundation, which is a sailing charity, and that is all based a lot around there's sort of science backing up about why we want to get young kids into sailing and get them on the water, because it's just so good for your mental health.
Yes. And do you keep the blue marble with you? Is it a lucky charm?
Yeah, it's in my handbag.
Oh, fantastic. That's so great to hear. Yeah, so it's always nice to have a bit of scientific backing behind what I'm trying to shout about and showcase, so that's good to hear. So we just mentioned you've got your cup of tea. Do you have a go-to cup of tea of choice?
I've just switched, actually.
Ooh.
From Twinings every day was my go-to, but Dorset tea don't have plastic in their tea bags, so I am now drinking Dorset tea.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to have a look at that. I didn't know that. I will. We will have to explore. Does it taste better as well?
Yeah, it tastes beautiful without the plastic.
Yes, yeah. Oh, great. Well, you just alluded to it in your last answer, but my next question to you was going to be what it is that you do for work, and you mentioned the wonderful word, the Olympic journey or the Olympic career. Would you be able to share a little bit more with us?
So I am retired from the Olympic side now, but I did 20 years. Sort of 4 campaigns for the Olympics. So I did 4 campaigns. I went to 3 Olympics. I came 6th in my first in Beijing, 2nd in London, and 1st in Rio. And then I was like, done, I'm out.
Out on a high. And do you miss it now, or do you miss that buzz of being?
I really miss it. I say I've struggled a bit the sort of the 4 years since. Well, yes, it's nearly exactly 4 years retiring. I really just loved the bubble, loved the identity, loved the team. I was an athlete in a team of 2, and we had a really close relationship, us 2 and our coach as well. And I've really missed that, having someone that you're really aligned with, that you're doing a project with, that you have responsibility for, and they have responsibility to you as well. That sort of shared goal. But I'm sort of gradually making headway in understanding what that is and understanding what my future might be. Yeah. But it's been I think it's been a lot slower process than I was expecting, and probably a lot more, maybe I made it so, but a lot more painful than I was expecting as well.
Yeah, no, it's completely that identity side, isn't it? You're Saskia the sailor, and suddenly it's no longer that, and it's almost starting again. But knowing the mindset of athletes and the positive mindset and the champion mindset that you have, did you think that helped you transition out of sport?
I think it will, once I find the thing that I want to do, and I sort of have faith in myself that when I find sort of my avenue, that I will, all those skills of being an athlete will, sort of come back. I think something where it's maybe hindered me a little bit is kind of the pursuit of perfection a bit, and I feel sort of really nervous about going into something a little bit half-hearted and not necessarily being that good, and not feeling that this is what I'm going to really put my energy into and excel, and feeling okay with that. I feel like I don't want to do that. I don't want to sort of display average to the world, and so I'm learning to chill out about that, and it's okay that I'm not you know, I spent 20 years of my life trying to be the Olympic champion, and I wasn't that. For 19 and a half years I wasn't that, and I, you know, need to be okay with that, the next phase. And so that's kind of where I guess I'm trying to be courageous now and take some steps to do that.
And what have you been exploring in terms of what else you can do?
So since I retired, I've been still been doing pro sailing, so that's how I've been earning my money. I'm sort of dabbling with a few things at the moment, just deciding whether to turn a total corner and go quite corporate and go to the big smoke that is London. But I mean, I know that maybe lots of people, you know, for me that would be a big culture change and shock, big lifestyle shock, but it would give me sort of normality and routine and stuff, which I quite like the sound of. But equally it means I won't be sort of waking up next to the blue water of pool and stuff. And I lose, you know, as an athlete, you have quite a lot of freedom, you travel a lot, you in different places a lot with lots of different people, and you know, sort of weighing up all those things and where I can take my skills more and use my skills better.
Yeah, and I think what you just touched on there has probably been so important during lockdown for so many people. It's that routine that you've had as a sports person, and actually now in lockdown, and we're easing out of it, yes, but people have really struggled to get that routine and to have that purpose at each day. Is that, how have you managed that during the last few crazy months of COVID?
I mean, I definitely say since retiring, that's been my problem, you know, missing that routine, missing those really key event, you know, we had an event every month, or sort of every 2 months we have an event, which would be a performance indicator, which you then kind of formulate your goal, your program and your goal setting for your next period of training and stuff. And that sort of routine is just a metronome to your life. And then you have an Olympic Games every 4 years, and that's how your life rolls. And I've been slack since I've retired, for sure. I mean, there was a lot of, it was nice not to have to do fitness and stuff for a while. But I've definitely, when I've sort of been a bit down about where I'm headed in my future, I've definitely tried and been encouraged by people to get into a routine with fitness and stuff again. And that has always rewards me massively for doing that and getting that routine. And in lockdown, actually, I've been quite good at that. I've been much more active and routined with my activity the last 3 months than I have done since I retired from sailing, actually. And it's, I think if I hadn't have done that, I think I would have been really struggling with my mental health.
Yeah. And what activities, what have been your go-to throughout this time?
So I got slightly roped into, on the 3rd of January, signing up for half Ironman in October, and having not ran and have it since I was at school with really bad knees, that was kind of the challenge. I used to do lots of cycling as my fitness for sailing, and I'd started swimming. I started open water swimming actually 2 years ago, which I found was a real boost for my well-being. So it's like it's amazing, so amazing. If anything, have
again, isn't it?
Yeah, and you just can daydream. You just sort of spin. I couldn't really do front crawl. At school I learned to swim, but I think I just learned the breaststroke properly and never learned to breathe with front crawl. So I was always one of those people that could take a massive breath, do their length of front crawl, and then die. And so I've learned to breathe on both sides over the last 2 years, and it's just been really, really rewarding. So during lockdown, I've been doing my swimming, like pretty routined. And the last few weeks, I've been started the Couch to 5K on the app. And so I'm getting there. I'm up to 3K.
Yay!
And there's so much technology around at the moment to help you sort of crack on with these sports and give you quite a lot of, for free, give you quite a lot of coaching. And I feel that I quite like running. It's just so easy. Just train, especially coming from a sport like sailing, which is a total faff. You've got a boat to rig, you've got other people to deal with and stuff. Running just seems such a simple thing. Trainers on, out the door, you're doing it.
Yeah. And do you find that because you've had the goal and the motivation of the half Ironman, has that helped get that routine and that structure towards the activity, whereas before you didn't necessarily have that, so it would fall by the wayside and you wouldn't prioritize it?
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing like peer pressure. There's 6 of us have signed up. We've got a WhatsApp group and we're just winding each other up, basically. I did nothing for 2 months, for January and February, and then suddenly now we're in June. And obviously we don't know right now if it's going to happen because we're doing it abroad. But
oh, wow, where is it?
It's in Marrakesh. That was one of my demands, that we were going to do it somewhere nice. Yeah. I wasn't going to run around raining Welsh hills to get it.
Do that.
Lots of people do that apparently. Maybe next year, but not this time.
Yeah, ease in gently. And will you get some time in Marrakesh afterwards as well?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'd have to actually check my bank balance because since lockdown it's not looking that healthy. But our plan is that we would then go on a surf holiday or something for a few days.
Oh wow! Do you surf anyway, being by the water?
I'm kind of, I guess, a water baby with most of my sports. I think surfing is one of those ones that I've always been with a group of people that drag me out in conditions that are totally unsuitable for my level. So it's been, you know, and I've always sort of, you know, like with traveling with sailing, you're kind of, sometimes you end up in these iconic spots. So I'd be on Bondi and it's like 7-foot swell and we're all like, yeah, and just get absolutely nailed by the waves and come in and think I'm never going surfing ever again. And so I actually need to go. I can't surf at all, but I'm up quite up for going to somewhere where it'd be, you know, baby waves which are suitable for my level and getting better, rather than being thrown in at the deep end and like get nearly drown.
No, that's so true. But with the Ironman in itself, I mean, you mentioned earlier that you struggle when you can't, you know, there isn't that perfection immediately. What's your goal for this event? Is it
to crawl over the finish line?
Yes, that's amazing.
I sort of, when I said I sort of got, it was a bit of a business deal with a friend. I needed her to do something for me when the dates that she was signed up for one in the summer. So the trade was that she would give up doing that date if I went and did one with her. So I didn't have any, and initially I was like, okay, I'll do the swim because I was swimming anyway. I'll do the cycle, sorry, and then I'll retire. I won't bother doing the run. And then they were all talking about the half Ironman medals they were going to get. And I was like, I can't do this and not have a medal, and you guys will have medals, I'll be gutted. So and some people have done it and said, if I can get through to the end of the cycle, I can hopefully just walk the run and not be destroyed. We'll see.
No. Will it be up there with your gold from Rio? Will it be?
I don't know. The gold from Rio was awesome. It was such a you know, I started doing Olympic stuff when I was at uni, so in 1998 kind of thing, and I left it once before and went to work for a few years and then went back to it. And so it was such a culmination of a lot of years of my work, of people helping me, coaches, and you know, it was kind of a bit of a lifetime of work. Yeah. And it was awesome to do it in the style we did it in. A pretty cool style, to be honest. And with the person and the people I did it with, it was awesome to do it. What was
I'd love to, so I have lots of images from Rio, and one of my favorites is sort of the GB women's hockey team winning their gold. Yeah. And I just think, can they remember standing on that podium? Can you remember all of those moments? Did you
For some reason I watched it relatively recently. I watched our medal ceremony again, and I remember flashes of it for sure. I know why. I did an interview and someone asked me how it felt to be on the podium, and I can't really adequately describe it, how it felt, to be honest. I think I remember London better than I remember Rio. Rio feels like such a whiz and whir of
And
emotions and yeah. And whereas London felt we didn't win, and we got pretty close to winning. So I sort of remember that excitement of winning a medal, because it's still a big deal to win a medal, but then having to stand there for another 10 minutes while the people that had beaten you got their medal, and you sort of have that, you know, quiet bit of reflection whilst you're stood on the podium watching someone else get the gold medal.
Yeah. No.
And that feels more, I remember that better than Rio.
Yes. Yeah. But that probably drove you on to Rio, didn't
Yes, definitely. I think I would have definitely struggled to summon up the energy really to go again had we won in London. I'm sure. I don't think I would have. Yeah.
Obviously, this is something that lots of Olympians and Paralympians are dealing with at the moment. But is there any insight or into this champion mindset that you have that lots of other athletes will be going through now with the postponement of Tokyo to next year? How do you think they will be remaining positive, remaining as focused as they were? How are they dealing with it really?
I think it's really tough, and you know, I'm still friends with a number of the current athletes, and I mean most of them are pretty pragmatic about the situation, as you'd have to be. Like obviously the global situation and health and everything is far more important, but it's really tough, you know, that you're on the final the final section of your campaign. It's all building up to this one date that you've had in your mind for 4 years, and I think some have really embraced it, that especially in a sport like sailing, it's an extra year, and they've got an extra year to sort out injuries maybe, or sort out equipment and things like that. I think maybe the older athletes that were sort of coming to the end of their career, it's tough on them. You know, we're counting down to a date. Like, you know, I sort of think if this had happened in March 2016, I would have been distraught. I was hanging on physically, and just trying to sort of not be too old and too broken to perform. And for those athletes,
not old and broken, that's for sure. Yeah.
I was.
So yeah, to everyone else, you didn't look at it from.
I was wise though. That's the thing that comes with age. You're wise.
Yeah, no, it is. It's you know, those who are in their peak physical fitness at the moment, ready and raring to go, to have to then, you know, it's all about, it just shows that it's so much more than physical, everything about any kind of sport.
Yeah, and I think something that definitely through my career, and I think athletes are good at, is you know, you do have setbacks, and we, you know, you talk about it a lot. It's about the bounce back from those. It doesn't actually matter how many setbacks you have. It's about how you bounce back from them and how you reframe it and figure out your path through that problem that makes you a champion.
Yeah,
it isn't about having everything your own way, and from the moment you step out, winning everything and continually winning everything until you stop. You know, obviously, you know, those kind of, we often sort of, you know, those kind of footballers or athletes get really championed and stuff, but they are kind of once in a lifetime, once in a generation athletes. They're not really the true story of most of the people that are at the Olympic Games or on the football pitch or whatever sport it is you might be really passionate about. Most of us have a lot thrown at us and figure out how to plot our path through that. And you come out, you know, I came out winning, which was awesome. And sort of now post my career, those are the sort of things that make me employable and give me skills that I can move forward with and stuff, rather than just having had everything my own way.
Yeah, and to have that confidence to transfer those skills into the business, into the city, whatever you might do, which I think a lot of people often forget or don't realize their potential there, which is so true. And I often say that you know, use a 100-meter race as an example. You see these athletes on telly for 10 seconds, and that's 10 seconds and they win gold, silver, bronze. But what we don't see is the blood, sweat, the tears, the loss of funding, the injuries behind, that actually makes it so much more worthwhile, which is probably why I blub at every medal ceremony that
I do. I mean, kind of whatever level of event I'm watching, a flag and an anthem, I love. And,
yeah,
and it gives me goosebumps, and I just adore it. Yeah.
Don't give me a BBC Sport montage. I'm away.
Yeah, love a montage. Love a weepy montage.
Yeah, I was something on this week. Oh, it was I'm a big cricket fan, and it was the Headingley innings from Ben Stokes last year in the Ashes, and I just looked around and I've seen it so many times, and I was like, I hope nobody can see me, but I have tears in my eyes. Don't get me started on the World Cup final from 2003 rugby. No, that's so interesting. So aside from sport and aside from the COVID world, is there anything that you have discovered or rediscovered during lockdown, like new activities, podcasts?
I really struggle with podcasts. I want to get into them, but I feel I just get distracted.
Yeah.
Like I'm better at them when I'm driving, but kind of just around the house, I feel like I just get distracted to do something and I haven't listened to it. So if you've got any good ones, I'd love some recommendations. I actually, as my first dream profession that I wanted to be was, before being an athlete, I had two. Vivienne Westwood was the first one. I wanted to be a fashion designer, and then Kate Adie was my second one. I wanted to be a like a journalist. So I've actually rediscovered sewing and dressmaking.
Yeah.
So I've got some new articles of clothing to get out after lockdown.
Have you got any nearby? Can we see any? Or there?
Luckily not.
No.
I tell a lie.
Let's see it.
I'm gonna have to turn it right around. But so I made some scrubs and stuff during lockdown.
Brilliant.
Jumper.
Fantastic. Wow.
Made with my fair hand.
I would never want to wear it. I just want to frame it.
It's quite like you suddenly realise how I can no longer shop in Primark or anything. Can you suddenly sort of realise how much effort it is to make a garment, and you sort of think that it's criminal then to pay £5 for a garment that somebody might have made in a faraway country that but it's cool. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and something to push yourself with, new challenge.
Yeah.
I love it. That's amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much for chatting to us today. I could sit here and chat all day about all things Olympics, but I will let you get on to more sewing. So my final question that I ask everybody that comes on, who would you like to nominate to be on the next episode of Positivity?
And so I'm going to have to ask him first, but I'm going to nominate Luke Patience, who is my 470. So the 470 is the type of boat I went to the Olympics in. He's my 470 mate, and he won a silver in London, and it went to Rio and is selected for Tokyo 2021 as well. So he's been in lockdown in Scotland and still been doing his preparations for the games.
Oh wow, that'd be so interesting just to hear how he's been focusing his training towards it. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, pleasure.